Okay, so I shall share my screen, and today we will talk about what are mock objects. Okay, uh, so do you guys understand what is a mock? You have mock test, mock exam, and all those things, right? What
Yes.
exactly is mock?
Mock is something virtual, means just a prototype of the real thing.
Correct, correct. Right? It is not a real one, it is mimicry of the real one. Right? So that is why whenever you have 12th exam or I don't know, for any other higher graduation exam, you have these mock tests that you basically take. Right? It is just a mimicry so that you can prepare for it. Now, for this, one of the important things to understand mock that you need to understand is the concept of polymorphism. So, did we discuss about this polymorphism?
Yes.
Yeah, we discussed about it, right? So, the idea is this. We need to understand polymorphism and what is dependency injection. Okay. Now, let us basically take a method called login that essentially takes email, password. Okay. This is anyway a pseudocode, and it reads from DB repository dot new find user by email. Okay, it got the result, that is it got the user, and we are basically checking user dot password. First thing is we'll check if user exists, and if user exists, if user dot password equal to password, right? Then if this is the case, then we are successfully logged in, else we basically return password invalid, right? So till now, are we clear?
Yes.
Simple thing, right? So I'll just put return true over here, just a pseudocode, and else return false, and here also I'll basically return false. Cool.
Yes.
So now the question is, what are the dependency for login?
Email and password.
To one extent, yes, but there is some other much stronger dependency for login. What else is it dependent on?
DB.
Correct. Right? So DB is one of the biggest dependency for login. Right? Uh, so in mock based testing, right? Okay, right now, uh, when we tell unit testing, right? We are basically checking a particular unit of code, right? Right now the unit of code is login, correct? We are
Yes.
checking it if the logic of login is proper or not, right? So in this test case, should I also test whether the DB is fetching the data properly?
Yes.
Why should I do that?
Unit test is just about like that code, right? Logic, like whether that is right or not.
It is true. Of course, we do write unit testing for database, where we are checking whether it is retrieving the right data or not to check whether the query is correct. But right now, the thing is, I'm checking this login, correct?
Yes.
I need to check if the database gives me the right data, that is, if it finds me the user, after that, is the logic proper or not, right? Say for example, it found the right user, but the password is not matching, then what should happen, right? Let's say it found the right user, password is matching, then what should happen? Let's say it didn't find the user, then what should happen, right? Now the question is, do I have to actually hit the database and get the user, is the question, because I'm not testing the query here, I'm
Yeah,
testing
actually,
the
Yeah. So I think like we need to create in such a way where we create duplicate like user and like password. After that we check. So
not
query-
necessarily, you don't need that also. So you don't need to create a duplicate user, or we don't need to create a test user so that we can test it out and stuff like that. We can do it in much more easier way and much more neater way. So till now, do we understand that we are not testing the query itself? So we can basically isolate this guy. This is a dependency. We can assume that this guy is working properly. And then we can continue testing. But now the problem is, it in the test case, if the db.repository gives me some other user, how can I continue? Say for example, I want a user with the right password. I'm going to test with user whose email ID is user@gmail.com and his password is password. Now if I have not created the user in the database, I have not set the password, when I do db.repository, how will it basically give me the right thing? Maybe the query is proper, I don't know, we are telling that let's assume the query is proper, but now when I call this, how will it return something and how do I test it, right? It might return some user, right? Maybe there is some other user in the database with user@gmail whose password is something else, so then our test case will fail, correct?
Yeah.
So for this purpose, we basically use mock and stubs. Okay, remember what we talked about mock, it is mimicking something, right? So using the mock objects, you can mimic this call. We can basically tell, okay, db.repository, you will be called with some information. Whenever you have called, return me this user.
Okay.
Email equal to this, password equal to this, return me this user. So I can do such kind of mimicry. Okay, I can basically tell the mock object, whenever this thing is called, by default return this object. So if I do this kind of a setup, then what happens is, whenever this call is made, it actually does not make a database call. The mock object will take care that instead of making the database call, it will intercept the call and it will basically just directly return you this object back. Now if that is the case, then will our test case work?
Yes.
Yeah, it will work.
Right. Now, so now the question is, what is the difference between mock and a stub? So this is a little more involved, conversation. We will look at what is the difference between mock and a stub little later, but right now you understood why we use mock and stub, right? It is basically to mimic external dependency which are slower or it needs certain setup. Say for example, instead of DB you're calling a API, let's say user API, you're doing all this coding using microservices. Let us say instead of this you're calling user and you're calling user API this is a microservice API, get user whose email is this one, whatever the email is, right? Let us say we want to do this. Still you can mimic it. So any dependency that is either calling an external system, it is calling an external system in whichever manner. Either it is calling a database or it is calling the APIs using HTTP call. Those things can be mimicked, and the reason we want to mimic it is setting up these data so that we can test it is little bit a hard task. And the second part is the speed at which the test executes also. It depends. Whenever you hit the database, right, it takes certain amount of time, so your test case automatically becomes little slower. Okay, similarly, whenever you make a call to the API, it will take certain amount of time, so your test case will become slower. Again, what happens if the database is down? What happens if the API is not properly hosted, or you have a different version of the API, someone newly deployed an API? So then what happens? So there are multiple such criteria where the test case can fail. And the idea over when you are doing unit test is to isolate, test in isolation. So this is very important, testing in isolation. Will this make sure that everything is working fine? No, it will not make sure everything is working fine. It covers 80% of your scenarios. After that, rest of the scenarios, what do we need to do? We need to write integration test cases. So there is a difference between unit test case and integration test case. Unit test case will test every small unit in your project in isolation. Integration test will test all these smaller units together to see whether together are they working fine. So this is the difference between unit test case and integration test case. Is this clear?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So now let us basically write a sample test case. I will create a new folder called mock session. Okay. Describe mock object. Okay, now I'm just going to write a simple API unit test case. So I'm right now I'm not going to write API unit test itself, or should I do it? Let us write an API unit test case. Maybe that will be easier for us to understand. Describe login API. Okay. So let's do this one only, right? So now what I'm going to do is, do you guys remember how to create an API?
Yes.
So you go to, okay, here unfortunately we don't have resources. Resources folder is not here. I need to get the resources folder here. So I'll just create a folder resources. Index.js is there. API route index.js is there. API routes are there. Only thing I need the resources folder. Okay. And then we basically create a folder over here. I call it sessions. I will call it sessions because you're creating a session for a user. Whenever you log in, right, what are you doing? You're creating a session for a user. Within that session, we are able to identify who the user is. Correct?
Yeah.
So I would basically call it sessions. Okay. So inside this, I'll basically create another folder, APIs. And in this, I will basically have create session API.js. API. So here I'll basically write let's say create session, and the method should be, what should the method be? HTTP method,
Post.
correct, post, and the URL will be sessions. Okay, create session. Cool. So till here are we on the same page?
Yes, yes. Yeah.
Okay. Now what I am going to do is, see, I know I have written the code before testing. The reason I am doing that is to make sure things are all right. Again, we will do one more round of test driven development, so that everything we do it in a proper manner, right? CD projects sessions, session, and CD functions npm run auto test. Okay. Helper resolver is not there. Describe mock object. So let me go to this guy. Helpers dot resolvers. I think it should be resolvers. Okay. So here everything is passing. So I'll basically do one thing. Instead of running all the other test cases, I will just comment it out. Not comment it. I'll basically I'll remove this dot only, and the other one also I'll remove dot only, and let's test our API test cases, right? So it should, what should happen whenever we basically call an API?
Status thing should also you get like return. That is one part.
Okay, so let us say describe login API, right? Should create a new session when the credentials are correct. Right credential are passed. Correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
Cool. So now let's pass some credentials over here. So what I'm going to do here is, this is the actual response object. Now I'm going to create a request object. Request object is already there. I'm going to assign it. If you guys remember in request, right? If you want to get the post data, it is basically in the body, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So I'm going to create a body, and what are the data I'm going to pass? Email. What is the email? I'll basically user1@gmail.com. It doesn't matter because we are not going to hit the database itself, and the password will be password, for example. Okay, this is what I'm calling. Now how do I invoke the API? So what I basically need to do is, that was check it. Test. No, I had written few snippets. I'm just trying to figure out what those snippets were. TRE. Okay. So there is something called test routes. This is similar to the routes that we have in our when we are creating the API. Do you guys remember the routes where we told routes dot
Yes.
with security, without security, no auth, post, bind, and all those things? Similarly, this is the one, test route, and we are telling execute this, and here it will be what is the route that I need to execute. What was the route that we created? Sessions. Right? What is the method? I'm telling post. Alright, and I'm passing the request object and the response object, and I'm expecting a response over here, And what should this response be? Do you remember what our format of our API response is?
One status should be there, I think.
Correct.
Status, what your output was.
Status is true, correct?
Uh,
Message, what do you want the
Message.
message to be? Successfully created a session.
yeah. And the error message.
Error message is not needed. At one time you will only either send the success message or failure
Yeah, yeah.
message, right? The response. Successfully created a new session. Okay? This is the message we are sending. And what entity should I pass? Should I return back?
200.
No, entity is what is the data I need to return back.
Okay.
So I need
Yes,
to return back the user.
User
And the
data.
user, let's say the name of the user is user1, and I'm returning the email of the user. What was that?
User
User1
one
at gmail.com. And then a password I will not return. I also need to return, let's say, okay, these are the two items for now we need to return back. Okay. Now let's run the test case. What is the problem here? It is telling await is not there, so I'm going to call this guy async.
Okay.
So I'm running the test case. So it is basically telling sessions not registered. So we basically told sessions, right? It is telling this guy is not registered. Why is this
I
not
think
registered?
API route.
Correct. Copy relative path, and then I go to API routes, right? And I basically tell require and I'll just remove this guy. Oh, sorry, I think require this one. Okay, now let's run this guy. So it is basically telling cannot read match with of undefined. So it does not know what to do with this thing. Right now what has happened, I have created an API. This guy is not returning anything, correct? So do you remember we had to return respond, correct?
Yes, yes.
Now what should I return in respond? So what I will do right now is, in order to fix the test case, what should the response have? Do you remember what should the data in the response be?
Result.
Correct. Do you guys remember this?
I think Roshan and Aditya have not gone through this result thing.
Got it. We will go through that, Roshan and Aditya. But right now just remember, we always need to return a result object whenever we respond. So I'm going to return respond, right? In the respond I'm going to do result dot, what should it be? Okay. And here I will basically pass the user object. What should the user object contain? I am going to pass the user object will contain these two data. Okay. And then what is the second parameter?
Successfully.
Correct. So I'm going to copy this success message and put it over there. And failure message I'm ignoring right now because I don't care. So now the test case passed. Right? Till now we have not done anything. Right? We have not written any code. And like how we do test driven development, we don't even have to write all these code upfront. Now the question is, how do I make this guy fail? Okay. So that is the next question. So what I will basically go do is, when the credentials are incorrect, what should happen?
It should return not created a new session.
Correct. Should not create a new session when wrong credentials are provided. Correct?
Yes.
So now what I will basically do is, I'll basically copy this entire thing. Now instead of test execute, right now it should return error. So there is one more method over here, execute error. So I'll just make sure it is TRE, execute with error. Sorry. Okay, I'm just going to use this. So right now what I'm telling is, okay, whenever the credentials are not correct, it should return an error message back. Okay, and what should the message be? Status is false, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, error should be there.
Message should be
Could not create a new session.
correct, or authentication failed.
Yeah.
Please provide valid credential. Okay. What should the entity be?
No, error type should be there. Sir.
Error type, okay, but what should the entity be?
Entity should not be there.
Correct? That's it. Now this is the test case. Now what happens? Again await.
Async.
Correct. I'll go add this async. So here it is telling expected error but got an object. Okay. So by default we are returning result.ok, right? So it was basically telling, dude, I expected a error message back, result.error, but you have given me result.ok. So that is what it is basically telling. If you see the error message, right?
Yeah.
Expected error but got an object. Okay. So how do I fix this? Now we basically need to mock the thing. So where should I get the data from? I should get the data from the database, correct? So this user, he's passed some credentials, whatever the credentials are. Now I need to check from the database whether a user with this credential exists or not, and if the password is correct or not, right? So what I will basically do is, I'm going to create a mock object, sandbox dot mock. Which object am I going to mock?
DB.
Correct. So this is the dependency that I want to use. So I'm telling I'm going to use this dependency and I want to mock this object dot expects. So we are telling this mock object expects a method. Which method should I call? DB dot? No, in DB you have multiple.
DB dot execute.
Instead of execute, I'll use find one because you want to find a user, right? I'll basically type find one, right? And then returns. So we usually return a asynchronous thing, right? We usually return a promise. So in order to do this, there is a helper method for you to do this. There is something called resolve OK. So we can basically use resolve OK. And in the resolve OK, we can basically pass what needs to be returned. In this case, I want to return this user, correct? Not this user, it is this user plus the password. So I'll basically pass this user plus I want the password, correct? From the database. Till now, are we on the same page? I'll stop here. Till now, do you guys have any doubts? Because this could be little confusing. Okay. We will anyways we will try and understand this little bit better.
Yeah, this part I want to understand. Resolve OK is there, right?
I will explain that. We'll go through that. Now what I will do is now let's go look at the test case. Basically it's telling undefined property find one. Repository is not there here. Repository is there. Oh, okay, sorry, I had commented this out for some reason. So I will uncomment this and I think that's what we didn't have a database, that's why I had commented this out. So now if I look at it, what is the error? It is telling expected find one once but never called.
Okay. It's
Correct.
Not in, yes.
So what it is telling here is, here I am telling there is a database, there is an object called DB. You expect a call called find one. Okay. Whenever that call happens, return this thing. But now when I did the actual execution, we never called the database. Correct?
Yeah.
So that is why it is failing, telling that I expected something but it didn't happen. So I'll do one thing in the repository right now. I'll just comment some things out. So this guy mongoose.connect, I'll just remove this thing out. Okay, so till now we have on the same page, right? Expected this but it was not called. So let us go to our code and we will use this. So I'm telling let response from the database equal to await db dot find one, and I will not pass anything to it. I just want to make the db pass, correct? So I'm passing empty object to it. So here it basically told the first one passed, should create a new session when the right credentials is passed. Here it is basically telling query.get is not a function. Okay. So this is in the second test case. Should not create a session when wrong credentials are provided. So here it is telling expected query.get, and but this query.get was not a function. Do you remember every query we told we need to have a method called get?
Yeah.
Do you remember that session? I'm pretty sure Aditya and Roshan also, when you created the API, you basically wrote a query API, query class, and that had a get method, correct?
Yes, but what? Yeah.
But here we are passing just an object. This guy does not have a get method. And in that second test case, right? In the first test case, I mocked it. I basically told don't call the actual database and return this object back. But in the second test case, I have not mocked it. So it is actually trying to make an actual database call. And that time it's trying to get the query, but it is failing. If you see, the first test case passed.
Yes.
Right? There also again we have not passed the query, correct? But still it passed. That is because it's a mock object. But in the second test case it didn't pass because we have not mocked it. So if you look at here, the database is not mocked. So I am going to mock the database again over here. Sandbox dot mock. What are we going to mock? DB, correct? And expects, what is the method it is expecting?
Find one.
Find one. And what should it return?
Resolve not okay.
Correct.
It is
So it should return resolve, or it could even returns resolve okay only. RESOLV resolve okay, but the credentials are not proper. So it can be the same thing, or I'll copy this returns. I'll change the password because we are in the database the credential is password 1, but right now we are passing password, correct? In this case it should basically return a error, correct? So let us look at what happened. Here again it is telling expected error but got an object. So why that was happening? Here if you see, by default I am passing result okay, correct? Now what I will basically do is I am going to pass a response. We need to pass that response, right?
yeah.
Whatever we got from the database, we need to pass that. I'm going to pass that. It is not passing because in the database is returning password also, but the password we don't want to send it, right? So now what I will do is I am going to write the logic. Do you guys remember when result? When to use when result? Do you guys remember or you don't
Yes.
remember?
No, not used, like, never used.
Okay. So, so Kaustav and Hema, can you just explain Aditya and Roshan what is when result?
When we have only one query which we need to execute or thing we need to execute, so when we have only one.
Hema, your voice is extremely low. Okay, so let me explain that. So, Aditya and Roshan,
Yes.
do you know what does db.find1 written?
Okay, like this will go to like DB and repository and their function you have written, right? So first thing is like whatever object it is getting, that it will pass to that particular function, find one, and like there are like two things it is doing. If not error, then it will send a response. Otherwise, it will cache error and send according to response.
So,
According to that.
Yeah, I remember now. One result was to avoid that try catch, I guess.
correct.
Yeah.
So we need to cover a result object for this. Do you guys know what result object is? Folktail result. Have you guys gone through this?
No, no.
So let me just cover this aspect also. So let us go through Folktail. Let me go to API reference. There's something called result. This is what we use everywhere. Okay. So let us just read about this little bit. One thing, have you noticed in our project we don't have try catch everywhere. So none of our code basically have try catch. So the reason we are able to avoid that is because of this result object. A data structure that models the result of an operation that may fail. A result helps with representing error and promoting them, giving user more controllable form of sequencing operations than that offered by construct like try catch. Okay, so let us look at our repository right now. So if you look at the repository, right, you have something called find1. Where is find1 here, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So you have query, you basically do get. That get will return a promise. If the promise has successfully completed, then you basically get the data from the database. That time what we are doing is we are going to tell resolve and we basically pass result.ok. Because we are telling everything was alright, this is the data and this is there in the result object.
Okay.
Okay. Now let us say the database was down or the query was not written properly or something. Then it will go to the catch block, right?
Yes.
That time we are telling resolve, but result.error. Now what is this resolve? This resolve is used because of this promise.
Okay.
Excuse me. So till now are we on the same page?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So now your database is returning result. It can be result.ok or it can be result.error, correct? So
Yes.
what I'm going to do is I'm passing this to when result. What does when result take? It takes two methods. The first method is when everything is alright. The second method is executed when there is an error. So I told you the response can be result.ok or it can be result.error, correct? If the response is result.error, then this method is executed. If the response is result.ok, then this method is executed. And to that method, it will actually pass the user. So right now we are trying to find user, right? To that method, it actually passes the user. Okay, that was found. So again, I will repeat. If I go to repository, whenever we are basically doing repository.find1, we are trying to find a user. If it finds the user, then it will pass result.ok, and it will, in the result.ok, it will send the data, that is the user data. When result, what it will do is it will check whether the result is okay or error. If it is okay, it will unwrap the user and pass it to the first method. And if the result is not okay, it will pass the error message to this function,
Okay.
right, to the second function. That is, it is simple as that. Now if I have the user, what should I do? I need to check if user.password equal to I need this password, right? So I'll basically do let this will be email comma password equal to request dot body. This is object deconstruction, right? You guys are aware of this, right?
Yes, yes. Yeah.
And you can basically type password over here. And if the password is correct, what should I return? I'll return result.ok, and in result.ok I will pass user's name, that will be user.name, and the email. I don't want to pass the password, correct?
Yes.
User.email. So I passed these two things. I will return this guy. Okay. Now if that is not the case, what will happen? I need to return result dot error. I'll basically tell password didn't match. Correct?
Yes.
Cool. So now I have this authentication response or result, and I pass this authentication result to this here. Initially I was passing the response over there. Now I have basically done few things and I have written the proper thing back, and that is there in authentication result, and that authentication result is what I am responding here. So now let's look at what happened. So the first test case passed, right? Okay. Now in the second test case, it is basically telling I basically had a code 0 and the password didn't match as the message, and the this was the error that I was expecting, but you basically are expecting this. So I will go change the expectation over there in the API session, in the describe mock object. Here instead of this, I'm going to tell the thing is new, it is expecting new API error. We basically return an API error. What was the code? Code was 0.
0.
The error message was
Authentication.
password didn't match. So I'll just copy it from there so that okay. This is what I'm expecting. Error message is failure. So error messages, instead of failure, I'll basically have fail to authenticate the user. What was the thing that we told? Fail
Authentication fail.
to authenticate the user. Okay, this is what I'm expecting. So it basically told instead of fail to authenticate the user, it's basically giving failure, right? So the reason for that is In the response, the second parameter is the error message. We can pass the error message. So I'll go copy this error message, I'll pass it over there. So whenever there is a failure, it will basically send this message, and whenever there is a success, it will basically send this message. Correct? Now if you see, both the test cases passed. So let me stop here and let us try and figure out what all happened till now. Okay, just give me 1 second, guys. I'll just get some water.
Sure, sure.
Okay. So till now, what all happened? Can anyone explain me what happened till now? Let's start off with Aditya. Aditya, what happened? What did we do till now?
So first thing we learn about like the dependency injection, I think like we call like mock and like other things there. So in mock, what we are doing is like we are trying to replicate some functionalities like DB we are replicating, okay, and like we like by replicating that we are able to test the functionality of our like functions, like whether logic is correct or not. So these things I can say, and yeah, that's what I can.
Okay. Hema, what do you understand till now?
Yes, so first thing is we have to
Hema, your microphone, huh?
test the
You need to fix your microphone.
now it is audible.
It's better, still it is low.
Yes, so first thing is we learned is to create a mock so that we can test the API, what parameters we are sending, what will be the success scenario. So in the success scenario, what will be happening, and in case of error, what will be expecting, what data we are expecting, and what response we are expecting to send it back. So all these things, how to handle it.
Got it. Kaustav?
Yeah, so here what he is doing is all the functionalities can be tested in the test only, but when some asynchronous function we are calling, we need to mock that dependency. So here what we are doing is we are mocking, we are using mock and sandbox to mock the DB object and all the queries related to it. So we mock the user object, and we are seeing that what kind of method the DB is executing, and according to it we are arranging the code so that we get the expected result.
Okay. Roshan?
Yeah. First of all, we wanted to create sessions for the users, for which we have to drive the unit testing and integration testing. So for this unit testing, we wrote some test cases, and for the first test case with the when we try to hit it, we using the mock concept, mocking the DB, fetching the information of the user through this mock concept. So we were able to do so, and for the second test case, when we try to make it a fail one, then we have to go to some what should I say? We have to add some more functionalities over to make it run thoroughly.
Okay. Cool. So let's proceed. So let me tell again. So till now we have not written a query class, right? We have not actually hit the database. So what we are trying to do over here is we are trying to test this function, and in order to test this function we are telling that we are going to mock this call, right? We are going to mock this call, and here we are telling in the mock I am going to have various scenario. In the first scenario I am returning, in the first scenario I will return the correct user with right password. In the second scenario I am going to return a user with wrong password, and I want to check what happens. Okay, so here now the mock object, what it does is it actually does not make the actual database call, but rather the mock object will return whatever we are setting the expectation over here. We are telling it returns this thing, so it returns that thing. It will actually return a result.ok with this data. That is why we are basically telling resolve OK. It will return a promise. That promise will actually return a result.ok, which is wrapping this data. Okay, and in this case, similarly in the second case, instead of hitting the database, it will directly return this object. In this case we have basically the password is wrong, and that is why both our test cases are passing right now, where it is telling if the password is right, return result.ok, and if the password is wrong, return result.error, telling the password didn't match. Got it? So now let us continue with this. How do I make this fail next? See, till now the implementation is not completed, correct? This is partially done. So now how do I drive the next level of implementation? Right now, first time what I told is it should return the right user. Second time I basically told it should return right user with the wrong password. Now what are the other scenarios?
So maybe number of logins are limited.
No, I am not bothered about that. I am not going to do that because that will take a lot of time to implement. Right now, basic scenario, password matches, password does not match. Next thing could be the user does not exist.
Not exist, yeah.
Correct? It should not create a new session when if the user does not exist. User is not present in the system. Is that correct?
Yeah.
I'll make this async. So I'll basically do the same thing, and instead of returning an object, I will return let's say I'll return null. There was no user, correct? So in this case, fail to authenticate, I'll basically
User
tell
not found.
user doesn't exist. Sorry, so I'll make this into this one, and user doesn't exist. Right? So now let's see the test case. So here it is telling cannot read the property password of null. So where is it failing? It is
API.
failing in line number 71, 71 here, and it is failing in the API because user is null, and right now we are doing user.password. So I am going to write one code over here. If user, only then do it, correct? Else, if the user does not exist, then return result.error. And what should the error message be? The user does not exist. correct? So now let's see, did it pass? All the test cases passed. Is the implementation completed?
Yes, I guess.
No, we have not passed the query. We don't know which query to pass. If I actually run this API, it will fail, right?
Yeah, so we need to connect to the database too.
Correct. And also, if the failure happens, if there is some exception, what should happen? That is also not covered over here, correct? Now, so let us basically cover the exception. It should not create a session when
Exception.
when something goes wrong, right? So in this case, what I'm basically going to do is the same thing, but now instead of result OK, I'm going to give result error, resolve error. That was correct, right? And here I'm going to give some random error. Okay.
Okay.
So essentially what is happening is db.find1 is called. In the db.find1 there is some exception, and we are trying to figure out how will our API respond when that exception happens, right? So some random error. So I'm basically failed to authenticate, but there was some random error, correct?
Something went wrong. Okay.
Some random error. So here again I'll basically give async. So here it is telling cannot read match with undefined. So essentially what happened is, here I am catching the error, but I am not doing anything with it. So I am going to return result dot error, error, and I am going to pass this same error back.
Error.
Yes. I'm going to pass the same error back. So now let's see, everything passed, right? Now the interesting thing is, in the when result, if there is an error, if you are not handling anything, then you can ignore this method. Right now when error happens, are we doing anything?
No.
We are just returning the same error back, right? If you don't want to do anything, you can ignore this error message. I can remove that function altogether. Okay. What when result will do is, whenever there is an error, it will return the same error back to authentication result.
Okay.
Right? So since I removed that implementation, it should fail, but it passed because when result returns the same error back, and that same error is passed to respond, and the respond returns with failed with authentication, and this guy has the error message in it. Is it all right till now?
Yeah.
Yes.
So now all the test cases passed. Still we are not passing the right query, correct?
Yeah.
So now how do we handle this? So I am going to make the test case fail. So for that I am basically telling dot with args. So we can basically check what is the argument that is passed to find1. Okay, we can check that also in the mock object. So if I get the right arguments, only then return this thing. Okay, so that is what we are going to check now. So here verify args. What is the argument? We'll basically get a query, correct? db.find1, what will it get? It will get a instance of a query, correct?
Yeah.
Now I'm basically telling expect query, dot to be instance of which class are we going to be I want it to be instance of. We need to write the right pass the right query, right? So I'm basically telling find user by email.
Should it be create session query?
We are not creating a session. See, here in the database we are not creating a session. We are just finding user by email.
Yeah.
Correct? So, or we can basically tell for authentication, right? So anyways, right now I'll basically call this and let's run it. Now it is basically telling find user by email is not defined. Correct, we have not created that class. Correct. So I will go and create that class first of all. So where should I create that query?
Resources session.
Correct.
Query folder.
So instead of inside sessions, I need to create another folder called queries. And in this, I'm going to create a file called find user by email query.js. Okay. Now I shall copy this thing over here. Where should I copy? Here I'll basically call that guy const find user. What was the
by email query.
So I'm just going to copy this guy just to make sure the spelling is correct. Find user by email query. So I'm going here and then I'm telling require I need to pass the path of this guy, copy relative path, going here, passing this path, resources. Now it basically did that, but now it is telling the instance assertion needs a constructor but object was given, right? So it is telling find one should be called but it was never called, right?
Yeah.
That is, it actually called the find one but with the wrong argument. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to your API and I'm going to add this guy and I'm going to pass this thing. Okay, new this guy. So let's see what happens. So it is basically telling is not a constructor, right? It is failing. So why is it not a constructor?
Because we have not written anything over there.
Correct.
Yeah, we have to create a class.
So export dot module dot export, sorry, class find this
user.
one, and I have created a new class. Now I am able to do this. Sorry, I'm going to rerun it because whenever you create a new file, right, whenever I make changes to that, it doesn't find it out.
Okay.
So now this passed, right?
Okay.
So this also passed. Is the implementation completed?
No.
No, implementation is not complete because like we need to pass values and like do query, actual query.
Correct. Actual query, but here also I'm not even passing that email here. Correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
So now I'll basically do this. I'll fix the expectation. One is this, and also expect query dot email dot to equal. What should the email be? user1@gmail.com.
You forget to write that Y after.
Correct. So we basically did this, and let us see what happens. It again tells undefined deeply equal to this. So now in order to fix this, what I'm going to do is over here I'm passing this email to this guy. Okay, and I'm going here, I'm creating a constructor. Here I'm passing email, and then I'm going to tell this dot email equal to email. Correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
Now let's see what happens. Everything is passing. Is the implementation completed?
No, like we need to like pass like yeah, like find like do actual query, right?
Correct. You need to actually write the query. Now that is a different test case. So we are going to write query test case. So today we will not cover that. But implementation of API, is it completed? Let's assume that we will write the query. Okay, let us say by some mechanism we have written the query. Okay, and we wrote the query. Okay, is
Even if you don't write the query, then also it is running fine.
correct? So the implementation, is it completed for create session?
Yeah.
It is authentic. Go ahead.
Like you can like add more things like it depends like requirement, but for what we are like doing right now, for that like it's completely like,
Correct. See, again, if you are using JWT token and all those things, that's a different thing. We need to generate a JWT token and return back, etc., etc. But we are not doing all those things. From that perspective, our API implementation itself is completed. Correct? Are we on the same page here?
Yeah.
yes.
Got it. So this is how you are actually going to test drive your API generation. Guys, got it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Till now, do you guys have any doubts, questions?
No.
So one thing like so I can make mock for like anything, right? Like if class is there, I can do class for class.
Not
also
for
mock.
class. You don't need to do for class. You only need to do for anything that is talking to an external system. So
like library, I suppose like I'm using some particular library like functionality.
you don't need. You can do it. It's not like you cannot do it. See, if it doesn't talk to an external system, right? You might just as well test it out, because there is few things called. We'll basically cover a few items. We need to try to test out how validation needs to be tested. Right now, we have not done validation over here. You see, right? We need to see how to do testing of the validation and all those things. But see, I understand your question. We will cover in subsequent sessions, because right now I don't want to get into that and confuse you guys more. Right now, try to write your test cases for all your API using the mock framework. Okay, can we do that?
Yes.
So we have written some 4 or 5 APIs, right? I don't know how many of our APIs we have written. For all these APIs, write your mock tests. Okay?
Okay.
Can you just share that file with us?
Yeah, I'll push this thing. I'll push this to code repo. You have the sessions folder,
No.
repos. So you can just do a
I
git.
will read. Yeah, we can read it. No
Correct. Go to your Bitbucket. There you will see a repository called sessions. Just clone it.
problem. Okay.
Okay, git status. I am basically git add, git commit, mock session batch 6, git push. So I have pushed all the code that we have written till now. Okay, you can use this as a reference. So I'm just going to stop the recording. No. Do you guys have any other doubts?
No.
Hema, is this clear? Roshan, is this clear?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool, guys. That's it.
Yeah.
So let's continue writing test cases. Today, I think the